So, Destiny has been found guilty of some certain things when it comes to the case between her and her ex-husband Labrick. Now, before I go ahead and talk about this case, I will first say I was surprised when I saw it circulating this morning. That she was found guilty and was, asked to pay some fines, because the last time when she was arrested, when she was like, oh, Tisha came and bailed her out, Stormy was there for her. I can remember her coming on social media and being like, yeah, it was thrown out, I'm free. Like everything was okay, as if it was a ruse, like her ex-husband was just targeting her. She made it look as if it was just a targeted stuff of her ex-husband. And she went on, different podcasts, making it look as if her ex-husband was just, he didn't have a case. He was just trying to be troublesome. He was just trying to be an ass of a human being towards her. But now to see these things happening, to see this document being paraded around, it makes me think, Destiny, is everything okay with you? Why would you come outside to make it look as if this man didn't have a case against you? Why would you come outside to make it look as if this man was an ass towards you when you were kind of the problem? And you sit down and ask yourself that why do people not like you? This answers it. You don't allow people understand you. You don't allow people to be like, okay, fine, I know your story, because I'm somebody that I know. That's why I always say I don't really hate Destiny, because I understand what it is to reach a low in your life where you find it so difficult to even feed, to have a one square meal. I understand to get that. And I also understand how you can rally around people, tell your story as it is. Because at the end of the day, if you don't let people know that this is exactly how my situation is, where would you find that destiny helper? Where would you find that person that will really help you? And again, when people then decide that I'm gonna help you, you don't come outside and being like, oh, you helped me, but so it was just this amount you helped me with. Are you the first person to give this kind of amount? That's been unappreciated. But it seems like I'm digressing. The fact that you made it look as if all was well, that is really what is kind of very disturbing to me. But before I go ahead and read this court document, make sure guys click on the subscription button, guys. Follow us. I very much appreciate it. Make sure you like and comment on this video, and make sure you share this video. Now, back to the whole Destiny stuff. Now, Destiny, we know she has been in court for Labrick over the custody, and so many things have been like. And at this point, I'm confused on what drags them to court every time. But now it seems like a judgment has been given on the situation between Destiny and Labrick. And I'm saying, and I would say, looking at this court document is not looking good for Destiny. But I'll go ahead and read it. I got this thing from TV. So shout out to them. He said the court finds the defendant willful and contemptuous, failed to pay her shares of the minor's child medical bills as required for three separate visits. The court finds that the defendant willfully failed to pay the share of her HOA yearly fee and on three separate occasions as required by the decree of divorce. So this is what the things that were, those were the things, the judgment that was given when the divorce happened. The court finds that the defendant willfully interfered with attempts to sell the marital residence, including moving the sales signs. The court finds the defendant willfully failed to pay $5,000 in attorney fee as required by the modification order entered by this court on May 1st, 2023. So it seems like the court asked her to pay for Labrick's attorney fee after a certain judgment was given, and she didn't do that. The court finds that the defendant, Destiny Williams, is guilty of 9 separate acts of criminal contempt. Wow. Destiny Williams is sentenced to 5 days incarceration in the Madison County Main Detention Center, 815 Wheeler Avenue, Huntsville, Alabama, for each of the said 9 acts of criminal contempt, with each sentence of five, with each sentence of five incarceration to run for the total of the sentence of 45 days, suspended for a period of 2 years. So she was given, at the end of the day, she was given a suspended sentence for 2 years on the express condition that the defendant complies fully, completely, and faithfully with the orders of this court in the future, including the orders contained herein. Now, the reason why she was given a um suspended sentence was an agreement that from there, because it seems like most of these things stem from the fact that she was given this judgment previously, but I don't know what's wrong with her. Me, I believe in, when you're giving a judgment, whether it's against you or for you, I start putting up in motion. Even if I want to appeal, at least let me do what I was given a judgment for. Then if I appeal, I can appeal that, if I win in my appeal, I get back the money I did pay or whatever thing I did do when I was given the judgment. You were giving me a judgment, you did not do it. So I think the judge is even a little bit sympathetic towards Destiny, because it's like, okay, we're gonna give you a 2 years, um 2 years suspended sentence if you decide that from now on you're gonna do everything this court says of you to do. So I'm wondering, how many things have the court asked her to do that she didn't do? And even if you're going through a difficult times and you were not able to do those things, you did not make it known. You made it look as if your life was well and good, and you were just being, targeted by your bad husband that doesn't want to see you shine in life. That's just it. The courts did not impose sanctions, including incarceration, for the numerous other times the defendant failed to comply with the court's order, in hopes that the defendant will change her behavior such that such actions do not need to be addressed in the future. That's what I said earlier on. The defendant shall be responsible for the pay of the sum of 12,779.13 for the attorney fees incurred by the plaintiff for the services of his attorney in this matter. Ooh, that's a huge sum. The defendant shall pay said sum to the plaintiff within 30 days of this order. This award constitutes a judgment in favor of the plaintiff against the defendant, for which execution may ensue pursuant to Rule 62 to the Alabama Rules of Civil Procedures. The defendant shall pay the sum of $1,170.77 to the plaintiff for her share of the unpaid medical bills for Valley Enterprise and Dr. Maples, as contained in the Plaintiff Exhibit 27. The defendant shall pay said sum to the plaintiff within the 30 days of this order. Wow. The defendant shall pay said sum to the plaintiff within the 30 days of this order. This award constitutes a judgment in favor of the plaintiff against the defendant, for which execution may ensue pursuant to Rule 62 to the Alabama Rules of Civil Procedure. The defendant shall pay the plaintiff the sum of $639.83 for her share of homeowners association fees and assessments. The defendant shall pay said sum to the plaintiff within the 30 days of this order. The way that the judge made it that everything must be paid within the 30 days of the order. Judgment in favor of the plaintiff against the defendant, for which execution may issue pursuant to Rule 62 to the Alabama Rule of Civil Procedure. The defendant shall be responsible for the pay of the sum of $4,000, $4,093 64 cents for the unpaid mortgage and escrow fees since September 2020. The defendant shall pay said sum to the plaintiff within 30 days of this order. This award constitutes a judgment in favor of the plaintiff against the defendant for the execution may ensue pursuant to Rule 62 to the Alabama Rules of Civil Procedure. All this, all other relief requested is hereby denied. Okay, better by the plaintiff. So every other thing he asked for was denied. All provisions of this prior decree and modification not herein above modified uh, shall remain unchanged. And this was done on the 13th day of August 2024. And that was like today is 16th, so 3 days ago this happened. Now, she has 30 days. That's 1 month. So by this time, September, she has to pay nothing less than $19,000 to the same ex that she made us believe that was an ass, was targeting her, was a bad man, was everything he says is the rules, everything that comes out from his mouth is a lie. He was just harassing her, he was just targeting her. Now, okay, if you know that your ex is targeting you and you are standing on the right, of course you're gonna have victories. And the fact that Destiny came out and be like, everything is a rose, he's just a bad man, he's just a ass, he's just this, he's just targeting me, he's not happy to see me happy, he doesn't want to see me smile, all these things you've said about this man. Just for it to be that he had proof, he was standing on his right. And some of these decrees, some of these judgments was given during your divorce, and you did not adhere to this judgment. And now you're making it seem as if he's just a bad man. Talk about pouring your responsibility on somebody. Talk about not taking accountability. If you contributed, there's something about, okay, yes, let's just accept that this man was really an ass of a husband or an ass of an ex-husband. Like he's doing something very, bad to her as an ex-husband, because you've seen some ex-husband do some things and you'd be like, what the heck is this man doing? Yes, let's say the ex-husband does some bad things to her, or is not happy, or doesn't want to see her happy or smile. But did you at a certain time contribute? Like you gave this man an ammunition to use against you. That is the difference. You gave somebody, it's like you gave somebody a gun, you put in a bullet and be like, you know what, you shoot. Of course the person is going to shoot. You gave the person the ammunition, you gave the person the gun to use against you. It's a different thing if he goes fishing, if he goes and tries to get everything possible to come for you. That's a different thing. But when you are the one that created the opportunity, someone used to say if you give somebody allowance, they'll take allowance. When you are the one that created the opportunity, the avenue for them to come for you, so sometimes she always likes to compare her situation with Melody. No. When it comes to Melody and the fact that she's dealing with Mattel, they're two different things. Two separate different things. Mattel is always fishing for things that would make it look as if Melody is a bad person. And Melody doesn't give him the allowance. She doesn't create that avenue. She makes sure she does. If I'm pretty sure that if the court tells Melody, do this, do this, do this, do this, even if she's not happy with those things, even if she's not glad with those things that the court ruled against her, she will do those things. You know why? So as not to give Mattel the opportunity to use that against her in any shape or form. Remember the time he was gloating in the episode where he was gloating? I think last season when he was gloating that yes, the judge made her to give her my number. I'm pretty sure that Melody didn't want to give Mattel her number. I'm pretty sure she went home pissed off because she had to give Mattel her number. But you know what? She still gave the number. You know why? Because she doesn't want him to use that against her in the future. But you were giving decrees, you were giving judgment that pay this sum of money, do these things when you get divorced, pay these certain bills when you get divorced, leave the household when you get divorced. A lot of things were given as judgment for you and your husband when you guys filed for divorce and when your divorce was finalized. Why didn't you do those things? And if you could not do those things, because yes, now before you thought you and your husband would go on a journey and he might be taking a little of responsibility for you, now unfortunately that's not the case. And you feel like I couldn't do those things because I didn't have the capability. Why did you make it seem as if you could do all those things? And why did you make it look as if everybody was lying against you, everybody was just a hater, everybody was coming for you? So right now, if I want to sympathize with you, how am I supposed to sympathize with you when when you made it look as if everybody was lying and all was well? That's my question. Why did you make it seem as if all was well and everybody was lying? And now to see this judgment, and you ask yourself, and Destiny sits down and asks herself why people don't really like her. I might not be on the hate train of Destiny because I like her, and she's a very beautiful lady. But I said, and the first thing I even thought about when I saw this court document, I said, how the heck will I be going through this thing? Right? And I'm coming back on its reality TV show, and the first thing I'm talking about is Moses and Sonny. That shouldn't be your big problem. I believe that we should be able to prioritize our problems. We should be able to say, this is a problem that I will not allow bother me. This is a problem I will allow bother me. Because for me, I feel like this is a bigger problem than for me being worried about who's Sonny or who's Moses finally ended up with. I'm coming back on a reality TV show talking about, oh, he can still get me. I can still get him. He still smiles at me. He didn't wear his wedding rings to come to me. That is not the issue. That should not be a priority of yours. Your priority should be this. And now you have 30 good days to come up with a sum of close to $19,000. How would that come up? Your business has not really picked up. I know she's back on she's on TikTok shop. She hasn't really picked up. We will not say her sales is to the level of Stormy, her friend. We will not say her sales is to the level of Melody, that will say, okay, fine, she can come up with the $19,000. Is there an avenue? Does she really? Because we don't know her. She's very closed off. She doesn't let everybody know what she does, what her business is, what she's doing right now. So we don't know. Is she? There's something that she can really say, okay, fine, I can really come up with this $19,000 in 30 days. And one thing I know about a judgment being given, if that 30 days elapses and that $19,000 or whatever, close to $19,000 is not being paid, there's another penalty for it. It might be worse. The question now, who is going to come to our aid? I know her and Stormy are close friends. I know her and Tisha are close friends. But does Tisha have $19,000 to spare to give to Destiny to sort out our issues? Does Stormy have $19,000 to spare? I know, and I don't think Stormy will be taking hers as priority now because Stormy is going through her own thing right now with her ex-business partner, Carl. And also, I think they're also in court. So I don't think that Stormy would prioritize Destiny's issues over her own issues, because her own issues is seven figures, baby, eight, nine figures. And I think she'll be fighting tooth and nail to not create a situation where she has to pay more than she has to pay. So I don't think she will prioritize Destiny. So who exactly, except if there's a friend we don't know about, maybe we've not seen on the show. But mostly that's who she hangs out with. When you check her social media, those are the people she hangs out with. Well, I do wish her well that she's able to come up with the sum of the amount that she has to pay before 30 days, because I would hate to see the alternative of her not being able to pay the money between the 30 days and having her go through a worse situation than it is right now. So I wish her well that she's able to come up with a 19 or close to $19,000. I just summed it up. Not that it's exactly $19, but I just summed it up in my head, summed it up, and I hope she's able to come up with that money and pay the ex-husband and let this chapter be officially and finally closed. Oh, that's where I'm gonna end my gist for today, guys. Guys, make sure, thanks for watching actually, guys. And make sure you like and comment your thoughts and opinion that was said on this video. Comment on the comment section. Make sure you also share this video, very, very much appreciated. And also make sure you click on the subscription button to subscribe to our channel. We'll see you guys on another round.